Welcome to our viewers in Nigeria and across Africa. It's another morning. Another week has started already. Feels as though the weekend was just yesterday, right? Well, it's the conversation on TOS Television Network. And as always, we're reaching you from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. My name is Adesuwa Osui.
And I am Merciful Ajinamo. Good morning, Adesuwa.
Good morning, Merciful. How are you doing?
Good. Happy New Week.
Happy New Week to you too.
I mean, it's Monday.
As always.
That's why you look good.
Oh, thank you.
Do I look good as well?
Yeah,
I was waiting for you to say that.
Well, I actually did say that.
I didn't hear.
Wow, okay.
Hope you're good though.
Yes, I'm.
How was the weekend and everything?
Well, I mean, I came
was
to
it
work,
restful
so
for you?
Yeah, to an extent it was.
To an extent. Okay, we'll get more extent. Okay.
Okay, guys, before we kickstart the show proper, allow us bring you the quote of the day. That's a quote from Jamie Sharp right there saying, look, whatever happens tomorrow, it's all in your hands. I mean, you have all the power and everything to shape what you want your tomorrow to be like, right?
Yeah. That means everything you do now, you'll be accountable for it because you're the one that made the choices you're making now. So the future, everybody will say, oh, what did you do in the past? And you're getting what you're getting now. Okay. So I think it's very relatable, boy. It was very direct. Like, go and be successful if you want to be successful.
It's like what an African parent would say to you.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, we move straight into developments across Africa. And then a new malaria vaccine developed by researchers at the Oxford University and scientists from Burkina Faso has shown to be highly effective in the trials in Africa. And this is in relation to, to World Malaria Day and the malaria vaccine that's been developed. Well, the vaccine holds the possibility, of reducing a death toll of 400,000 persons being killed by malaria, most of who are small children every year. The vaccine showed up to 77% efficacy in the trial of 450 children in Burkina Faso over 12 months. This is the first vaccine to meet the WHO goal of 75% efficacy against the mosquito-borne parasite disease. TOS News gathered that more than 4,800 children below 3 years will be recruited in the next trial, which will take place in Burkina Faso, Mali, Kenya, and Tanzania. According to the researchers, the vaccine will be manufactured at large scale and low cost.
Yeah, I think that's a good one for African countries, very good, especially seeing that, look, we have the COVID-19, but there are still diseases out there that are killing people, especially children. So the vaccine is very important for them to, take it and just make sure, even if it's 77% is something, even if it's 50%, it's still something. So just make sure that we're safe and protecting ourselves.
Yeah.
All right, we move over to Zimbabwe, where an Air Force helicopter in Zimbabwe crashed into a house on Friday, killing 3 crew members and a child. The Air Force said in a statement that the helicopter was on a training mission with 2 pilots and a technician when it disappeared on the radar. Zimbabwe's Air Force had given complaints that its helicopters and fighter jets are old, but they have not been able to buy new ones due to sanctions by Western countries. Wow.
It's usually very appalling when I hear stories like this where they complain that the aircraft are not in good condition, they're old, and then nothing has been done about it, and then we eventually have to have casualties of
before they now see the reason to do these things.
I mean, these are basic things. Okay, so you don't have maybe the go-ahead to get new aircraft, so you don't have to use the old ones. It's very, because I feel like these things could have been avoidable, right? These lives that were lost, we wouldn't have lost them if things had been put in place and all of these things have been done. But now about 3 people have lost their lives because people didn't do what they were supposed to do. It's appalling, really.
Very.
Anyways, moving over to Ethiopia, where Sudanese irrigation minister Yasser Abbas has threatened that his country could take Ethiopia to the International Court of Justice to resolve their differences if the latter goes ahead with plans to fill the mega dam on the Blue Nile without first reaching a deal with Sudan and Egypt. In a series of Twitter posts on Friday, Abbas also mentioned that Ethiopia had rejected an invitation for a three-way summit to discuss stalled negotiations over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, that's the GERD. He stated further that the African Union did not perform its leadership role, but were only observers. Yasser added that 9 months have been wasted in futile negotiation, and Sudan will not accept to waste any more time. He concluded the series of tweets by saying wars between the three countries as a result of the GERD issue is not expected.
I really do hope that everything is being done by the books and
Yes.
it's done legally, and justice being served.
Served.
So it's peace that we're all looking for
Exactly.
across all of the African countries.
That's why I'm taking the last paragraph or the last statement like very key. So despite the differences that we're having, the different interests, the conflicting interests and everything, we're not looking
Just
to,
try
there's
to
no
settle
war, there's no
everything,
fight.
resolve it
It's just,
amicably.
we're just trying to settle that amicably. Yeah, that's very important.
All right, in talking COVID-19 vaccine, a leading Egyptian pharmaceutical company has signed a deal with developers of Russian Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine to manufacture more than 40 million doses annually in Cairo, that's the capital city of Egypt. The Russian Direct Investment Fund, along with Egypt Menopharm and its Berlin-based subsidiary ProBiogen AG, said the technology transfer will begin immediately. The rollout of the vaccine is expected to commence in the third quarter of 2021. To date, Sputnik V has been registered in 61 countries globally, covering a total population of over 3 billion people. The vaccine demonstrated efficacy of 97.6% based on the analysis of data on the infection rate of coronavirus among those in Russia.
Yeah.
I really think that the data, the statistics that we're seeing is true, because if it's 97.6, I mean, it's really good.
Yeah.
And we see more companies coming out to, manufacture these vaccines. And you see that people they are actively involved in trying to get solutions for this.
To COVID. I mean, Sputnik V vaccine is one of the most efficient vaccine against COVID-19.
I think it's the most.
As of today.
Looking at all of the data.
Yes, all of the data.
Sure, we're still looking for more, update in terms of what is done and the people that have taken it, but still.
So, and then being the most effective, as you did say, it's in high demand across, the globe. Everybody wants, the Sputnik V vaccine. And then, because you can't leave it to just Russia to produce, to serve the whole world. Like, everyone that needs it, they can't serve. And then, so because we're having increasing cases and the demand is rising. So I love that we're getting to see the manufacturing process across countries. And then Egypt is in Africa. We're getting to see that, okay, Egypt is also manufacturing the vaccine. And then when this starts, and I feel as though we're going to have that spread across all of the African countries. So we don't have to wait months to get the vaccine, shipped down to Africa, other countries in Africa and all of that stuff. All right, talking about COVID-19, we're going to go on a break to bring you COVID-19 updates from across Africa right about now. Welcome back. That was COVID-19 update from across Africa, as collated by the Africa Center for Disease Control. That's the Africa CDC. I feel like because it's a Monday, I shouldn't, go hard and, everyone say, oh, you got the vaccine and all of that stuff. But I'm always going to say that because the numbers are still not encouraging. And I feel like, don't think I'm going to get tired of saying that. I wouldn't get tired of telling you guys to take precautions, all the necessary precautions and everything we need to do. Vaccines have been rolled out countries. I think there's vaccine in every country at this point. So get vaccinated. And if your country or your state has not started rolling out vaccines yet, just do the needful. Take precautions, proper hygiene, wash your hands, wear your face mask, and do everything you need to do so that we don't have to have increased number of cases of COVID-19 in Africa. Because I don't want to hear that, oh, there's a third wave of COVID-19 in Africa. We cannot handle that at this point. So let's not even get there. All right? Okay, we'll go on a break now, and when we come back, we'll be taking you through newspaper headlines for this morning.
North to South Africa. East to West Africa. TOS TV Network is your digital-first Pan-African news network, bringing you news from across the continent. Visit our website www.tostvnetwork.com and follow us on
TV
social
Network
media.
mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, watch out for the latest update on sports and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have
Let me
facts to
put it
prove
that
that?
way.
Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
We're being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of two evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget, and the budget they look. Some of them sleep. They're going to ask how much you are on. I have it.
Thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Osasu Igbenegya, and I am the People's Journalist.
You're welcome back to the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television. Don't forget you can always be a part of it by following us across all our social media platforms at TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course live stream our programs on our website www.tostvnetwork.com and subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on our amazing content. It's our newspaper review segment of the conversation this morning, and we'll begin with Blueprint this morning. Starting from the very top, FCT police smash car snatching syndicate. NAB 6 recover 5 cars. That can be found on page 26 of the Blueprint newspaper. And just underneath that story, we see disgruntled losers out to blackmail Akeredolu officials. That's coming from the Ondo State government. And that particular story can be found on page 8. Just underneath the Blueprint header there is more payroll support payment. MSME grants begin this week. That's coming from the presidency. And the right underneath says 319,755 beneficiaries on payroll support scheme, 265,425 on artisan and transport support tracks. And then we see 4 shop burglars in Osun arrested in Ogun State. And that can be found on page 5. To the very gaping headline there, very gory as well. 48 hours after killing of Kaduna University student, gunmen killed medical doctors, 7 others abduct worshippers. And we have 4 riders on the story. The first, secure nurses release, facilitate or face strike, workers tell Eurofile. And the second, Boko Haram in fresh attack on Borno community. We are committed to Ebu Beago, Southeast governors have said. And Boni 6 special military intervention in Yobe State, 35 abducted in Niger State. And just underneath the picture of the day, truck crushes 9 wedding guests to death in Edo State. And that can be found on page 7 of the Blueprint. FCT cancelled primaries, crisis, Mars, Gwagwalada, Sabo, Sadiki, Aguara, others win. And that can be found on page 26 of the Blueprint. Chaos is pipeline explosion rocks Alimo Shore again. And that can be found on page 5. Federal government rejects World Bank's survey on power distribution, claims positive development. That can be found on page 5. And the very last headline there on the Blueprint newspaper is Berger donates mosquito nets to 4,000 families on Abuja Kano Road corridor. And that can be found on page 26 of the Blueprint newspaper.
Moving away from the Blueprint newspaper to the Daily Trust newspaper, starting from the very top as well. Nigeria requires 1.89 trillion naira to fight malaria. PDP kicks as APC claims registering 2.5 million in Lagos. And then to the very obvious headline there, thousands flee homes as Boko Haram holds Gear Dam. Family of 11 die in crossfire. Insurgents slaughter teacher, one other. Buni in Abuja meets CDS and military base raised in Minok. And then just underneath the picture of the day, IPOB, gunmen killed 2 soldiers, 3 policemen in Rivers State. And Southeast governors order Ohaneze to raise committee over unfair treatment of Igbo. 9 wedding guests killed in Edo auto crash. That is a very sad development. And then the last headline there says, Taj Bank posts 845 billion naira profit, records highest share yield. All of these stories are inside the Daily Trust newspaper today.
All right, we move over to the Nigerian News Direct newspaper. On the very top, it says, Sanwo-Olu to unveil iconic project at 2nd anniversary. And that can be found on page 2 of the Nigerian News Direct. Gas local content milestones, Octon to honor Silver, Nigerian News Direct, others. That can be found on page 3. And then Red TV's TMC named web series of the year 2020 at the Gauge Awards 2020. That can be found on page 3. The very gaping headline here says, 1.23 trillion naira bad loans, bane of Nigerian economy. And that's coming from analysts. As oil and gas, construction, information, communication, general commerce contribute 754.1 billion naira. And government must create conducive business environment to curb raising bad loans. That's coming from LCCI. And talking about insecurity, Southeast Governors Forum calls for state police. That can be found on page 2 of the News Direct. RMAFC reviews emolument of political judiciary office holders, and that's coming from the chairman. We see other headlines there on the News Direct newspaper, and the very last one is Black Sunday, bandit attack, Kaduna church, kill doctor, abduct many, gunmen kill 8, JTF in Rivers. And that can be found on the Nigerian News Direct newspaper.
Quite a number of sad news there on that one. Okay, moving away to that, moving to the This Day newspaper, starting from the very top as well. Transcorp makes new board appointments, unveils new subsidiary CEOs, and then 2 riders under that one. Fanibo and Sambo now independent non-executive directors. Ozude Ikenga leads Trans-Afam Power, Transcorp Energy, and then so the other headline, the Southeast leaders push for legal backing for Ibubiagu. Police, others beef up security in governance country homes. And then to the very gaping headline, governors, speakers disagree on fixed monthly payment to state legislators. The first rider under that headline, judicial legislative workers strike continues. Federal government holds talk with striking workers today. Parliamentary workers give conditions to return to work. And then just, underneath the picture of the day, or just adjacent it, Academy advises federal government to shut airports to avoid COVID-19's 3rd wave. Those are the headlines on This Day newspaper this morning.
And the very last newspaper for this morning is the Daily Times, and we begin from the very top as well, where Anosika emerges IBB golf captain. And that can be found on page 5 of the Daily Times newspaper. The very obvious headline there says, Nigeria borrows 20 trillion naira in 6 years. That can be found on page 2. And just underneath the 2 pictures of the day, that's on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and his wife, Aisha Buhari. Cement price, group others caution BUA to leave Dangote alone. And that can be found on page 5. Talking about passport, federal government to clear all backlog of passport applications before May 31st. Adegbeshola pledges, and that can be found on page 3. And the very last headline there is talking about drugs. NDLEA seizes 10 billion naira heroin capped at Lagos Kano Airport, says spokesman. And the details of that can be found on page 11 of the Nigerian Daily Times newspaper for this morning.
I'm very saddened by the huge number of number of headlines that we have, that having to hear about people being displaced from their homes, people being killed because of insurgency. I mean, I try to not focus on that. Like over the month, every time we come here and we read that, I'm like, oh yeah, something's going to be done about it. But this morning, across all the newspaper that we've read out, it's like Very sad developments.
Very sad,
I'm seeing that lots of people are fleeing their homes. We're having a huge number of displaced people in the country, and I don't even know if there are measures, in place to take care of them, to house them, where they're going to go. Because I know that, this is my personal opinion though, if you go to lots of IDP camps in Nigeria, you'd see the deplorable states at which those people live. Do you understand? And they were having to be displaced from their homes. I don't even know if there are mechanisms in place to take care of them. It's terrible. It's very terrible.
Coming to the show every day to read a story talking about kidnapping, banditry, attack, and killing, especially of children.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think we've been saying, they should prioritize security, government, individuals should prioritize security, put in all the plans that we can put in. Every tactic, every strategy is needed at this point in time. We're really tired. We don't want to get to a point where it becomes a norm. That we're expecting,
you just expect
a story on insecurity or something must have happened. Some people must have lost their lives and everything. That's not good.
I'm seeing that bandits go into church and kill pastors, kill clergymen, abduct these people.
And the truth is, with all of these stories, we ask ourselves, who is now safe? Because if you're going for the prominent people in society, people who are occupying leadership positions, what now happens to the average Nigerian
because
who cannot
those persons can
fend for
actually
themselves?
beef up their security. Because one of the headlines are saying they beef up security in governors' homes. So governors across the states, they're beefing up securities in their home. But what happens to ordinary Nigerians who don't have anybody? Wow, okay, we're just going to move past that one. That's so much you can take on the newspaper headline segment of the conversation. We're going to go on a break now. When we come back, I'll be taking you through what is trending on social media. Welcome back. It's about that time where I take you through what I like to call my favorite segments of the conversation. That's because I get to bring you what has been trending on social media. Who doesn't want to know what everybody has been talking about in the last 24 hours? But before we get to that part, you should know, as I always say, be a part of the conversation. Just follow TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and also subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube so you do not miss out on anything. I don't want you to be left out on anything. And then also you can stream the conversation and other programs on www.tostvnetwork.com. Okay, taking you back to what is trending on social media, what has been trending on social media for the last 24 hours. The governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, has been trending on social media. So the governor allegedly has paid, more pensions than any governor has done since 1999, I think. And then following all of that development, he has been trending on social media. And I will read out a few tweets, to that regards for you. The first one is from @Olalekan OR. The self-acclaimed architect of modern Oyo and administrations before him owed a collective 56 billion naira in gratuities. Guess what? Seyi Makinde has paid 20% of the backlog, that's 11.7 billion naira, without owing salaries, 13-month plus bonus, without omitting the increase in IGR. And then this is from Slay Papi. He says, in light of the welfare packages he has disbursed to pensioners in Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde has been honored as a pensioners-friendly governor and conferred with an award of excellence in governance. Then this is from @King_Ademola1. In light of the welfare, okay, so that's basically the same thing. And then this is from @Captain_Vincent. Seyi Makinde basically wakes up and goes to Agodi to do what the good people of Oyo State elected him to do. while the progressives in Lagos want to take over corrupt cases of their ex-progressives. I think that one has a personal beef with the governor of Lagos State. But it's quite impressive to see that Governor Seyi Makinde is doing all of that, because I know pension is one very intricate issue that
the Nigerians always talk about. Always.
Yes.
People, have served in government and they're out of
years.
the government and they're trying to, it's always a call for, give us our money and everything.
Yes.
We have served the country. We need what what we have.
Yes.
Because it's really what they've worked for.
Yeah, I mean, it's from the salaries that you get to deduct the pension, and then
but still again, we keep seeing updates
Yes.
on social media, on the internet that look, we're looking for pension. Some states have been complaining that look, we're not giving them what is rightfully theirs and everything. So this is actually a huge step towards development,
right
especially in
direction.
Nigeria. And I really do hope that other state governors will learn from this. This is supposed to be normal in a normal like in a normal parliament.
That's the thing.
It's supposed to be normal, but then again,
this thing you mentioned is actually what I was going to say. This is what we're supposed to be seeing, right? It's like
we're supposed to be celebrating
when normal becomes a privilege. It's like, because people are supposed to, normal thing is you finish working, your pension is accrued to you, you keep getting it. We're not even supposed to be applauding somebody for actually paying.
But then again, because of where we are,
yes, exactly.
That is why we really do hope this is like a pace-setting, changing game of what is happening in this country. Because if other governors can follow suit, if the federal government can follow suit, and people do not have to come in the morning or come protest. I think it was sometime last year. They went protesting. Different series of protests. Old people
coming
saying,
watching and crutches
give
to
us our
protest for
pension
their
and everything.
pension.
So I really
and
do
you feel
hope
like this people have served this country or this state for 35 years. That's the maximum.
Yeah,
35 years, and they have to now come and queue. You hear them saying, "I can't pay for my medical bills because these people can't work anymore. They are senior citizens. They are supposed to even be taken care of by the state."
Yeah, plus
but that is not even not even looking at that now. There's no mechanism to take care of senior citizens in this country. We're not looking at that. But the pension that is accrued to them, they don't even get it. And I really do applaud Governor Seyi Makinde for actually doing the needful and just paying them. It's said that he's done that. No other governor has done that in the country since 1999.
It's a good one.
Do you know how long that
I really
is?
want you to know that, look, people are supposed to be paid salaries. They're not supposed to be owed salaries.
Oh, yes.
People are supposed to be paid their pension.
Exactly.
They're not supposed to be owed their pension.
That's what's supposed
so
to be.
These things are normal, and it's high time we normalized all of this in this country so we can go and grow in everything. Because really, if all of this is being put in place, we gaze our focus on different things entirely and focus on growth of the country.
All right, that's it for what's trending on social media here on The Conversation today, Monday. We're going to go on a break now, and when we come back, it'll be time for the big story.
Welcome back to The Conversation, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. And don't forget, you can always be a part of the social media community by following us at TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on our amazing content, and live stream our programs on our website www.tostvnetwork.com. It's that time where we'll bring you the crux of the show, that is the big story. Malaria is a disease caused by parasites that are transmitted by the bite of the Anopheles mosquito, that's the female mosquito, and the malaria parasites grow and multiply first in the liver cells and then exponentially the red blood cells. It is the blood stage of the parasite life cycle that causes the symptoms of malaria in humans. African world is the world's region that is most affected by malaria. In 2015, the continent held 9 out of 10 malaria victims, but it is also the world region that has achieved most progress. And from 2000 to 2015, African deaths from malaria has been reduced from 764,000 to 395,000. According to the 2019 World Malaria Report, however, Nigeria had the highest number of global malaria cases, which is 25% of global malaria cases in 2018, and accounted for the highest number of deaths, which is 24% of global malaria deaths. Case numbers have increased at between 292 and 296 per 1,000 of the population at risk between 2015 and 2018. According to the report, these are about 195 million Nigerians at risk of contracting malaria. 76% of whom live in high transmission areas and the remaining 24% in low transmission area. As the world marks the 2021 World Malaria Day with its theme, reaching the zero malaria target, we explore the possibilities of Nigeria being declared as a malaria-free country. Joining us on the program this morning to discuss these is Mrs. Hope Oboko, and she is the Integrated Vector Management Officer, National Malaria Elimination Program. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
coming.
So, first of all, where does Nigeria as a country rank in, the global ranking for malaria-related infections and deaths?
Okay. According to the World Health Organization malaria reports, it has been written that we found out that Nigeria, 1 out of 4 persons having malaria live in Nigeria, and 2 people that have malaria in West Africa. 1 out of every 2 people that have malaria in West Africa live in Nigeria. And again, 1 out of 5 deaths that occur due to malaria live in Nigeria.
Wow.
And about 11 persons die of malaria every hour in Nigeria. And over 61 million estimated cases of malaria occur in Nigeria. That is the World Health Organization report for 2020.
But like all of these statistics, I'm surprised at these statistics because I think I'm one of those persons who feel as though malaria isn't that deadly in Nigeria.
Yeah, it's becoming a thing of the past
gradually in Nigeria, and I do know that the government has been recording strides, have been doing so much, spending so much to eradicate malaria in the country. But so can you tell me about some of the achievements that we have achieved in Nigeria? Because you've read out these statistics and they're kind of damning. But what are some of the achievements that we have recorded as a country in the fight against malaria?
Okay, a lot has been done. Concerted efforts of the government and malaria partners in trying to control malaria in Nigeria. There is evidence that there is reduction, even at this number, with this number that I've just talked about, this statistic that I've just talked about. There is evidence that there is reduction. That is coming down because of the efforts of both government and the partners. So in 2010, the National Malaria Indicator Survey recorded 42% of malaria prevalence in Nigeria. And then in 2015, it came down from 42% to 27%.
Okay.
So that is coming down. And then in 2018, in the National Demographic Health Survey, it recorded 23% of malaria prevalence.
Yeah, so we keep seeing a
decline. So in the World Malaria Reports for 2019, it recorded 25%. So there is a decline due to the concerted efforts of both governments and their partners. So even if we have not achieved what we want to achieve, you said that you don't feel the statistics is so high because you are not affected. But if you go to the hospital, you know what is happening in the hospital. The malaria prevalence is there, so but it's coming down. It's coming down, and we hope to get there.
Talking about people who are affected, according to reports, the northern part of Nigeria suffers the most infection rates in Nigeria. What is the National Malaria Elimination Program doing, to curb all of this or to see how to control it?
Okay, the National Malaria Elimination Program is doing their best to see how malaria can come down, not only in the north, but across all the states in Nigeria. So the efforts that is being put in place by Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Health, they talk about usage of nets, sleeping inside the net every night. And part of it is that most of the states in the north, they have all these nets. They have been covered. They had the mass campaign where they distributed nets to them. And then there's also what we call insecticide resistant monitoring. So that anytime they are going to carry out distribution of nets in a state, they carry out insecticide-resistant monitoring to ensure that the kind of nets to be distributed will be able to kill the mosquitoes in that place.
Okay.
So that is part of what they are doing, and to ensure that it's done in the north and everywhere. But you know, it cannot be, it depends on the surroundings and all that. But Nigeria has taken note of that, and they are doing a lot to see that malaria prevalence comes down both in the north and everywhere in Nigeria.
Okay.
So a lot is being done by the governments and malaria partners. So if you talk, do you want me to talk about the achievements now?
Yeah, you can go on.
Okay, so Nigeria and the partners, they distribute nets across the states that are due for campaign.
Yeah.
They call it ITN, insecticide treated nets.
Yeah.
This they distribute, and it has been proven to be efficacious. It is cost effective, and it's effective to that anyone that sleeps inside the nets will be protected from mosquito bites that spread malaria.
Okay.
So that is what is being done. Millions of nets have been distributed. Like last year, 2020, there was a distribution of nets, even in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, to ensure that the gains, that we don't lose the gains. So they tried as much as possible, and they distributed nets in 6 states. And then 2019, they distributed in 8 states. 2018 also in 8 states, and this they do according to the state that is due after 3 years of distribution.
Okay.
It's bound. It has been proven that after 3 years, the efficacy of the net comes down, so they are to be replaced.
Okay.
So the government and malaria partners try to do that within 3 to 4 years to replace these nets. And then there is for, you know, the malaria is most vulnerable in children under 5 and pregnant women.
Yeah.
So there is also what we call intermittent prevention of malaria in pregnancy. So that is done in the hospital where a woman registers for antenatal. The woman at the first registration is given a net to ensure that the woman continues to sleep inside the nets every night. Then there is what we call SP, sulfadoxine pyrimethamine, that is given to the pregnant woman to prevent malaria in pregnancy.
Is that some sort of vaccination?
No,
drug?
it's tablets.
Okay.
They give them at the first quickening. When the woman starts feeling the movement of the baby, they give the first dose, and they continue like that every month until delivery. This helps to prevent malaria in pregnancy. So the child, the woman will be healthy and also give birth to a healthy child. If malaria in pregnancy occurs, the woman may have a low birth baby, low weight baby, and you know, it may also lead to miscarriage or the death of the child or even the mother. So they do all this to prevent malaria in pregnancy by giving that medicine. The medicine is supposed not to be bought from the pharmacy. It's supposed to be given at the health facility.
So is it free or is it paid for?
It is free.
Okay.
In public health facilities,
Okay.
it is free. So it is supposed to be taken directly observed therapy, DOT, that by the nurse who is in charge, so that to ensure that the woman takes it. So that is for prevention of malaria in pregnancy. And there's also what we call seasonal malaria chemo prevention, which they give to children in some states where they record the high malaria burden and where they have rainfall, much rainfall. So they give this, we call it SMC, they give some medicine to children under 5 to be protected from malaria. So these are preventions that that is done.
Done.
So, and there is also what we call that not all fever is malaria.
Okay.
You know, most times people will just say they have malaria. How do you know that you have malaria? Has it been confirmed? So there is this test that is done, apart from the microscopy. They call it rapid diagnostic test, which is done within 15 to 20 minutes you get your result. So we advocate that if you have fever, don't go and do self-medication,
Yes.
and don't say you have malaria when you are not sure it is malaria. So this test will prove that you have malaria or not. If you have fever, you go for that test. And then if it is malaria, if it is confirmed that your fever is malaria, the person is treated with what we call ACT, artemisinin-based combination therapy. This medicine has been proven to be efficacious, that it takes care of malaria parasites. So when somebody who has fever takes it, within 1 to 2 days, you start seeing the effects. And some people will say, I'm better, I can no longer take it. That is not right, because the person's body may grow resistant. So, and it may not, the whole parasite may not have been off from the blood completely because he has not completed the dose. So we also advocate that once you have malaria and it is confirmed through the test, either RODT or microscopy, you are treated with ACT, you finish the dose. It's usually 3 days. You start the first and then you finish it as prescribed by the doctor or the pharmacy. So that is the things that we do. And then, as I said, the nets, sleeping inside the net every night protects one from mosquito. You see people that will come out and say, I sleep inside my net. There was a day somebody was talking to me and they say, madam, you are looking good. I say, yes, why can't I look good when I no longer have malaria? He said, what is the secret? I said, the secret is that I sleep inside my mosquito net every night and I'm protected from malaria. So the person was saying that net does not work, jokingly. Then somebody that was there said, I stand to say that the net works. I said, sir, have you been using net? He said, yes. That for the past 6 years in his house, nobody has come down with malaria. Because everybody sleeps inside the net every night in his house.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. All of these things that you've said, all of the things that have been done, to prevent malaria in Nigeria, is it possible for Nigeria to be malaria-free? And how soon can we get to that level?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Like the theme for this World Malaria Day says, zero malaria. Draw the line against malaria. Stand up and take action. If everybody takes action, we will get there. We used to say in the pay-off line in malaria, National Malaria Elimination Program, we say, for a malaria-free Nigeria, play your part. Everybody has a role to play. Both the government, the partners, private sectors, philanthropic organizations, and all. We all have and we as individuals and as Nigerians, we have roles to play. You find that one of the challenges that we have in National Malaria Elimination Program is that although there is improvement now, net uses that the utilization is low. Some people, you give them this net, even when it is free of charge, they don't use it. They don't sleep inside every night. Some people sleep inside, but they don't do it every night. So that is one of the challenges that we have, that we are everywhere we create awareness for people to sleep inside the night. If the government has distributed nets in the state, and most times the maximum they give in a family is 4. And it's expected that 2 people sleep inside one net. So, if you have a larger family and you are sleeping inside the net and you see the benefit, you buy to complete the number that is needed in the family. Because we have some commercial partners too who produce this net. And once it is insecticide treated net, it is good to go. Some people will say the ones you give is different from the ones in the market. They may not be from the same company, but once they are insecticide treated nets, they are also good as the one distributed by the government. So we advocate that people should sleep inside the net. When one is sick, you go for tests, and then if it is confirmed, you treat with ACT. And if a pregnant woman gets pregnant, he registers for antenatal, and there is taken care of that he will not have malaria during the pregnancy. And even after immunization, children at 9 months, they give them measles vaccine. As they are living, because that's the last for that period, as they are living, they also give them a gift of nets to ensure that the child, as under 5, sleep inside the net every night. The government do all that. So, and if all this, partners supporting, putting fund in the control, government also supporting, and everybody doing what you are asked to do, playing your part, I think we'll get to elimination. With the malaria prevalence in Nigeria is coming down. And through this concerted effort of the government and partners and even individuals, if we do more, definitely we'll get there to elimination. We are looking forward to that.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you. It has been a very informative and educative one.
Yeah, there's a lot that I didn't actually know.
Thank you so much again, Mrs. Hope, for joining us on the show. And thank you so much, viewers, for tuning in and just listening in. I'm very sure you've been informed, educated, and of course, entertained, in what we've done for you and everything. Don't forget, you should, be a part of our social media community on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, follow it also on our YouTube by subscribing on the channel, TOS TV Network, and our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. Thank you so much again for watching. I am Merciful Ajinamo.
And my name is Ade Suwelsi. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.